The Boston Bruins have finally made a trade. Now, it may not be what people wanted, but it is certainly the perfect fit for this Boston Bruins team as it stands right now. So we're going to be breaking down this trade, taking a look at everything involved, as well as going on what other moves could be made before a deadline in a few hours. Now, before we get into all of this news here, we know that 92% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you want to get all your Boston Bruins news as it happens, and as soon as you can, make sure to hit the sub button, join us along. We'll be posting every update the Bruins have over these next few months as well, even after the trade deadline as it happens, to get you in the first to know. But like I said, we need to break down this trade, and this is an absolutely fantastic one. I'm sorry, that's not the right, banner, but it's a Pat Maroon trade from the Minnesota Wild. Now, this is a perfect trade for the Bruins in this scenario, and I will let you know why. Pat Maroon is a player who is not going to go out and get you goals. He's not going to go out there and be flashy with the puck. He's not going to be that guy to go and, get 3 to 4 points a game, but he is exactly what the Bruins needed in this bottom six at the moment. Now, I'll pop up the lines here. You can see this is absolutely a perfect depth piece to add into these bottom two lines. A very big physical guy who, what the Bruins are needing is a big physical guy. Perfectly fills that role. Will definitely be one of those guys that you're looking for in the playoffs to be able to retaliate, be able to go deep into a playoff run, and that's the guy that's going to guide you there indirectly, but he's certainly going to have a major factor into what they do in the playoffs and how far they can go with his physicality. Due to the Bruins not having too much of that right now, Pat Maroon, that style of player was what they were looking for. I wouldn't say the direct trade, but it's certainly one that they were in the market for, one that they were absolutely looking for as a sizable guy. So there are a few more options, once again, if they do decide to go get a few more of those, but Pat Maroon, I think, was my number one for that physicality, for that size, for that grit, and, that style of player. But here's a chart from Jay Fresh, just kind of pointing out, what his skills are. And he goes, Pat Maroon, acquired by Boston in a veteran depth two-way winger. Still big, still physical, can actually pass the puck decently well, but very slow, struggles to finish, takes more penalties than he draws. Obviously, has plenty of intangibles as well. Now, you can see by the chart, obviously, there's not much, talent coming out of Pat Maroon. There's not much skill, but he's certainly that guy that, like he said, is going to be there physical. He's going to stand up for the younger guys. He's going to stand up for this younger team. He'll make the other team scared and, vigilant of what they're going to do to this Boston Bruins team, come playoff time. Because obviously you need some physicality in the playoffs. That is really what gets you into a deeper run, indirectly, once again. But it is certainly an absolutely fantastic move for the Bruins at this point. And I'd be curious to see if they make any more. Pat Maroon, 1 year, $1 million deal. So the Bruins will have to make some way to make this cap happen. We haven't found out what it is yet. But it is for just a late round pick. So once again, I would assume a fifth or later, maybe a sixth. We still haven't found out the full trade, but it is for solely, from what we know right now, a late round pick. But, once again, this is an absolutely, I'll pull up the lines here, an absolutely fantastic move to add to this depth defenseman, or a depth winger, sorry. And I do think that there could be another move coming. We obviously still have Jake DeBrusk there. Jacob Lauko's another option who we've seen his name in trade market. I don't really know if he's going to be one teams are going to go after, but still an interesting piece for a team, like I said, that is rebuilding or on a retool type of situation. But, what comes to my mind is if they're going to be looking for another winger similar or another defenseman, maybe a depth defenseman similar to the style of Pat Maroon. You can always get those guys now for cheap. Most of those guys are on the tail end of their career. You can see Pat Maroon was 35. On the final year of his contract. Could extend, might not, never know, but realistically, he's for the playoffs right now. Obviously, he's not going to have too much of a major effect on this regular season or what's left of it, so he will be, a solid playoff piece that I would say will be in the lineup consistently for that time. But, the size has been recently a bit better for the Boston Bruins, and Justin Brazeau coming up. He's either 6'5" or 6'6", I can't remember right now, but a very big guy, and if he can find that consistent spot in the lineup as well, that'll be another addition, another bonus for this Boston Bruins team, making their way to the later parts of the season where, people's bodies start to deteriorate, people start to get tired, your legs start to not move as sharp as they were at the beginning of the season. So that's where those guys come into play. Well, that's where those guys really shine because they've been there for so long in a Pat Maroon style. and the physicality is part of his game. But could another move happen? Like I said, I spoke briefly on this a moment ago, but could another move similar to this happen? On whether it's on defense, whether it's more on the offense, it really depends on how the Bruins are going to, proceed with the rest of this deadline. Because obviously, we had that tweet last night, in that most recent video, about Linus Ullmark from Kevin Weeks, that there could be a three-way trade in place. Teams are looking at goalies, and we don't really know what that whole situation is yet. We still have a few hours before the deadline, making it, still possible. A lot of work would have to go into that, so I feel like we probably would have heard something about it now that we haven't already, but I do think another move could happen, more so on the defensive side, possibly a left defenseman. That's still another a big hole on this team at the moment, is the depth on defense, the size so much on defense as well. Obviously, Charlie Coyle is 6'6", but, Brandon Carlo, 6'6". Completely losing my mind here now, but, he don't really put his size to use as much as I would say Bruins fans and the team would like. They almost need a bigger guy solely known for his physicality. So, a move could come, depending, I guess, what's really available, what teams are willing to do with players like that, because most teams that have those players right now are playoff bound, and, you don't really want to trade a player like that to another playoff team that you might encounter in the playoffs. It's a whole situation that you have to think about, that us fans don't really look at when we're seeing the trade deadline and trades go down. So, in short, I guess you could say another move could come similar to the Pat Maroon deal, but I wouldn't say the Bruins are focusing on that right now. I'd say they're still focusing on an Ullmark deal, if anything could go down, just because, this rumored three-way trade is there. Don't mean it happens. It don't mean it's a three-way trade. Don't mean it's a trade at all. Obviously, I think Ullmark is a great opportunity to trade right now, where you have Jeremy Swayman on an expiring deal, could sign him for the future, and it sounds like they will, hopefully soon. You'd like to see that come in place sooner rather than later. But the Vezina win last year was definitely a selling piece for this offseason, for this trade deadline, where he could be, still that caliber. Not playing like it right now, but I think could easily return to that style, that skill level, with a bit of a sharper defense. So, we'll have some updates here coming soon. There's only a few hours left of the deadline, so we'll have to see what the Bruins do. As the time goes on, as this few hours proceed, and then we'll evaluate what happens. There's gonna be a video after the deadline as well, kind of breaking down did the Bruins do enough and whatnot. So make sure to stick around for that. Hit the sub button for that if you do want to check that out and stay up to date with all of the Boston Bruins news that we will have to bring you. For the foreseeable future. I'm very excited about this channel. Support has been absolutely insane lately, like I mentioned in the last video, and I do appreciate all of you guys watching, giving input and everything like that. It's pretty cool to discuss this team with some more fans. So that's all I got for this video. I think Pat Maroon, in short, once again, is an excellent fit, something the Bruins needed, however, not indirectly. So we'll be proceeding with this as the deadline goes on. See if any more moves are made, but that's all I got right now. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to sub, make sure to hit the like button. Come back for the next video. We're gonna have a lot more coming down the pipeline. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.